another episode of Sci-Connect. I am Teacher Nell, your science teacher for today. Are you now ready to learn? Let's start!
Matter is all around us. It makes up everything we can see, hold, taste, or smell. Matter is everywhere. But what is matter made of? How does matter differ from one sample to another? And how does matter behave? Matter exists as solid, liquid, and gas. These states of matter differ in properties and behavior due to the arrangement of the molecules. In today's video lesson, you will understand how physical changes that matter undergo based on the arrangement and movement of molecules. Are you now excited of our lesson for today? Let's move on. The most essential learning competency for this lesson is to explain the physical changes in terms of the arrangement and motion of atoms and molecules. The specific objectives of this lesson are the following: illustrate the arrangement and motion of atoms and molecules of matter as it undergoes physical change, and explain the arrangement and motion of atoms and molecules of matter as it undergoes physical change. This time, I will present to you the vocabulary list used on this lesson. Atom is the smallest particle of an element. Gas neither has definite shape nor definite volume. Fills the whole volume of any container. Liquid, no definite shape but has definite volume. Melting, a phase change from solid to liquid. Molecule, the smallest unit of matter which carries all the properties of a particular sample. Particle nature of matter. Matter is made up of discrete particles called atoms, or their combination called molecules. Solid, definite shape, volume, generally rigid and resistant to deformation. Before we proceed to the next activity, try to answer the next 5 questions that will be flashed on screen. Directions: choose the letter of the best answer. Write your answer in your answer sheet. Number 1. The following describes the arrangement and movement of particles when a solid becomes a liquid. Which one of the choices below is not? A. Particles become very far and cannot move. B. Particles become very close and cannot move. Letter C. Particles become closer and have enough space to move. Letter D. Particles move away from each other and are free to move. Number 2. What happens to arrangement of liquid particles when it becomes a gas? A. The particles absorb energy and move closer to each other. B. The particles give off energy and move closer to each other. C. The particles break away, move faster, and become far from each other. Letter D. The particles break away and move slowly as they become closer to each other. Let's continue to number 3. When ice is heated, the particles absorb energy. and the kinetic energy of the particles increases. What happens to the movement of particles as kinetic energy increases? A. The particles move fast. B. The particles remain motionless. Letter C. The particles cannot move freely. Letter D. The particles just vibrate in fixed position. Number 4. In which situation you can compare the arrangement and movement of particles in a gas? A. People in the market. B. People in a stadium watching Blackpink's concert. C. People inside a movie house with blockbuster movie. D. Basketball player playing inside the basketball court. Number 5. Which illustration best describes the arrangement of gas inside the balloon? A. B. C. And D. Congratulations for answering the 5 questions. Don't forget to submit your answers to your science teacher. This time, try to do the following activity. Directions. Below are examples of changes that matter undergoes. Identify the physical change. Write yes if it is a physical change and no if it is not. Answer in your notebook the guide question that follow. Processes and the physical change. First, we have meat is cooked. Is it physical change? Clay is molded into pots. Water freezes. Metal rusts. Guide question. Based from the given processes, how do you identify the physical change? This time, let us explore another activity. Activity number 1. Introduction. Physical change is observed in our everyday life, such as boiling of water, making ice cubes, the dewdrops observed on the leaves early in the morning. Can you think of 2 or 3 situations or previous experiences where physical change occurred? What could possibly happen to the particles of matter as it undergoes physical change? Try to do this simple activity. Direction. Number 1. Get an ice and put it on a plate. Observe its physical properties. Number 2. Leave the ice for about 3 to 5 minutes and observe. Number 3. Write down your observations on the table provided on the next slide. This is table 1, the properties of ice before and after. Properties. First column, which are the following: color, odor, taste, and phase. In the second column, you have to enter your observation on before and after. Guide questions. Number 1. Which physical properties of the ice did not change after 5 minutes? Number 2. Which physical properties of the ice change after 5 minutes? Number 3. What process is involved when a solid ice changes into liquid? Keep in mind that when matter undergoes a physical change, the composition of its molecules remains unchanged and the substance does not lose its identity. For example, crumpling a piece of paper only changes its size, texture, and shape, but it is still a paper, and therefore the process it undergone is a physical change. Why? Because the paper did not change its size, its texture, and its shape. Physical change is usually reversible. Examples of this are the phase changes that happen to solid, liquid, and gas. By reversing the process, the original substance can be obtained. For example, water is a liquid that boils to form water vapor, which is gas, which may again be condensed into water in the same proportions. In the same manner, candle wax melts when heated but eventually solidifies once cold. Let's explore another activity to further understand about this lesson. Activity number 2 entitled Phase Changes. A. Melting process. Objectives. At the end of this activity, you should be able to 1. Describe what happens when a solid is heated. 2. Illustrate what happens to the arrangement and motion of particles as solid is heated. Materials needed are the following: ice cube, small frying pan, and take note, safety caution. Be careful not to touch the pan. Again, be careful not to touch the pan with bare hands. It's hot. Procedure. Number 1. Get an ice and observe its physical properties. Place the ice in a frying pan and heat it over a flame. Then observe what happens. Guide questions. Describe what happens when solid ice is heated. What causes the solid ice change into liquid? Present through an illustration the arrangement of molecules in solid ice as it changes into liquid. B. Boiling process. Objectives. At the end of this activity, you should be able to 1. Describe what happens when a liquid is heated and cold. 2. Illustrate what happens to the arrangement and motion of particles as liquid is heated and cold. Materials needed are the following: glass of water, then kettle. Safety precaution. Be careful not to touch the pan with bare hands. It's hot. Procedure number 1. Ensure 1 glass of water. Use a marker to note the amount of volume of water before boiling. Number 2. Pour the water in a kettle and heat it over a flame. Number 3. Apply heat and boil it for about 2 to 5 minutes. Observe and record your observations. Guide questions. Describe what happens when liquid water is heated. What did you observe as the water boils? What do you call these methods? Present through an illustration the arrangement of molecules in liquid water as it changes into gas. Number 4. Transfer the hot water in a clear glass. Guide question. What happens to the amount of water? Number 5. Cover the mouth of the glass with a plastic transparent cup, enough to fit in the mouth of the glass in upside down position for at least 5 minutes as shown in figure 1. Number 5. After 5 minutes, take the plastic cover and observe. Guide questions. What did you observe inside the cover of the cup? What do you call these materials? How is it formed? How did it reach the cover of the glass? Present through an illustration the arrangement of gas as it changes into liquid. Keep in mind that the different physical properties of matter are explained through the particle model. The result of the activities you performed explained how atoms and molecules in each sample of matter are arranged and how these molecules moved. The atoms or molecules in a substance move differently depending on the physical state that the substance is in. When matter undergo physical change, the arrangement and movement of the particles changes. In your activity when ice is heated, the molecules absorbed more energy, thus increasing the kinetic energy of the molecules or the energy in movement. The movement of molecules become faster and eventually breaks the force of attraction between them. The solid ice changed to liquid water as it absorbed energy as shown in figure 1. The same way happens when water boils. The high temperature causes the molecules of water to absorb more energy, move faster, and breaks the attraction when hot water cools off. As the temperature decreases, the movement of the molecules slows down and molecules come closer. Again, the movement of the molecules slows down and molecules come closer. This is what happens when vapor or gas condenses and forms droplets of water. See figure 7. As molecular arrangement changes, motion or movement of molecules also changes. Physical change happens. To strengthen what you have learned on this lesson, below is an illustration or picture showing phase changes involved in water cycle. Study carefully the picture. Illustrate how the molecules were arranged in each process and explain how this process occurred. Write your answers in your answer sheet. The process are evaporation, condensation, precipitation. You have to write in the next column the illustration, and of course you have to explain. Congratulations for finishing all the activities. This time, to determine your knowledge and understanding about our lesson today, please answer the post-test. Directions. Choose the letter of the best answer. Write your answer in your answer sheet. Number 1. Which illustration best describes the arrangement of gas inside the balloon? A, B, C, and D. The following describes the arrangement and movement of particles when a solid becomes a liquid, which is not. A. Particles become very far and cannot move. B. Particles become very close and cannot move. C. Particles become closer and have enough space to move. And particles move away from each other and are free to move. Number 3. What happens to the arrangement of liquid particles when it becomes a gas? A. The particles absorb energy and move closer to each other. B. The properties give off energy and move closer to each other. C. The particles break away, move faster and become far from each other. Letter D. The particles break away and move slowly as they become closer to each other. Number 4. When ice is heated, the particles absorb energy and the kinetic energy of the particles increases. What happens to the movement of particles as kinetic energy increases? A. The particles move fast. B. The particles remain motionless. C. The particles cannot move freely. Letter D. The particles just vibrate in fixed position. Number 5. In which situation you can compare the arrangement and movement of particles in a gas? A. People in the market. B. People in a stadium watching Blackpink's concert. C. People inside a movie house with blockbuster movie. D. Basketball player playing inside the basketball court.
Congratulations, learners, for finishing the video lesson. I hope you enjoyed learning with me today. Remember, learning is fun with Sci-Connect.